All right, today is Wednesday, May 31st, and here goes another segment of comic breakdown study out of this book, the Action Bible. Today is another chapter of the Genesis, and this is Genesis 8 to 10. And what we have here, I think, is a continuation of the story of Noah. So I'm going to start. A rainbow promise based on Genesis 8 to 10. We've been in this ark for 6 months now. When will we ever see the land again? It could be 6 months. And what will we find out when we find out? Get out. I messed it up. It could be another 6 months. And what will we find when we get out? Month after month, Noah's family awaits. Finally, the water level begins to drop. The ark comes to rest on top of the mountain of Ararat. I'll send out the dove. If it doesn't come back, we'll know it has found land. The dove disappeared from sight. Noah watches the skies. After long hours rolling through the sky, the dove returns. A few days later, Noah again sends out the dove, and again it returns. An olive branch. That must mean some land must be dry again. 7 days after, Noah sends out the dove for the third time. This time, the bird does not return. It has found a place to nest. Noah and his family are nervous to leave the ark. They look every day for signs of dry land. A little over a year after the flood started, Noah steps out onto the dry land once more. Only 8 people have survived the flood: Noah, his wife, and his 3 sons, and their sons' wives. The warm sun on my face, the grass under my feet. It feels wonderful. Oh, ground, how I have missed you. Everything evil is gone. Through us, God is giving human beings a new start. We must obey God and teach everyone who follows us to obey. The first thing Noah does is build an altar. He thanks God for his care and asks God for guidance to help the families make a new start. Then God makes a new wonder in the sky, a rainbow. For as long as earth lasts, there will be a time to plant and a time to harvest. There will always be summer and winter, day and night, but never again will a flood destroy the whole earth. It's beautiful. God is good. Whenever people see a rainbow, they'll remember God's promise that a flood will never destroy the whole earth again. In the years after the flood, Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their families moved down to the river and river valleys. Their families grow larger. In time, the mountain and plains are dotted with the tents of shepherd tribesmen, and the rich rivers valley with their growing cities. Okay, that was pretty much the story of Noah finding dry land and leading on to generations to, by the grace of God, to benefit. All right, so type some short notes first, I think. So, I don't want this. Can you connect this with that? Okay, so panel, page 1, panel 1. PP1, stocking arc, and the second one we have second, third, I guess. Send doves out. And then the revelation, I think P4, I guess the revelation. And I think it might be inside the event. I think PP's 3. See land, describe land, and wonder. Wonder and a new beginning. And then we have P3. Rainbow, wonder, praise. I keep on saying it's called outro, but it's not really outro. It's more like a lead on to the next episode. I don't know what's it called. It's not a cliffhanger, but an outro. Okay, I don't have the best words vocabulary for this, but I think this will do. Okay, so in general, the story really is about Noah finding this new place, and the narrator describe how it is, and this wonder of this new beginning, and really remembering God as a result of that. So we have from this, the first panel, this sort of frustration, this is sort of a search for faith, right? Or this unwavering faith. And then there's hope. And there's discovery. So I think I wish I could. Can I write this? So this is frustration, and this is hope. This is reward. Beginning. So this is really connected between, so this is like a lead on. It's the overlap to the next one. It's all coming together. Well, I'll argue like maybe this part, not the last part. Damn it. It's good enough. And then I would say maybe timing wise, I think timing wise, these are more together. Between this is a little bit more ambiguous about when the doves left, right? Like there was no clear. In fact, it was hard for me to decipher just how long time has passed. You know, in general, I actually wouldn't say I'm a big fan. This one, I mean, who am I to say? But I think the previous ones were stronger of the sets. Okay, so now they have. Okay, so read aloud. The second part is panel study. Okay. That was kind of the panel study already, but let me do this again. Okay, so T1. Okay, so here we go. The first one we got. So that's 4 panels. And I'm actually discovering this author is a little bit more liberal with the traditional, this is inset. Okay, inset. 2 insets. Okay, so these are straight panels, these are insets. So these are insets, okay. And is there anything special about these? I guess you could argue the spacing between this has more of a spacing right here, and I guess this denotes time, right? So the first thing I noticed was spacing time passed. I mean, a little bit of it, right? I mean, compare between this one versus this one, this one. This is supposed to be a lot tighter. But over here inset, when it comes to inset, the rule goes out the window. So even though these are together, spaced anyways, I guess the other way would be not to space it. I mean, like, what if it looked like, you know, like this? How would that look? I actually think that it actually serves a good purpose. I actually think that by doing this, it is really the story. It plays on the inset, right? So these are actually 2 shots from maybe sequential shots, but they're definitely, it seems like something within panels, right? So you have this background and then what's inside. And this author has actually done this again in the previous one in Noah's Ark, where the inset is actually what's within. So the timing, yeah, so timing wise, this one has slow ship sail, and then this one's picks up, discovery, bewilderment, expensive, I think is the word. Yeah. Mommy's talking to you. Also, there's no device today because yesterday you didn't do it.
Yes, Mommy.
Okay, so what panel study done? I think the mood wise though. Yeah, so this is slow. This is like some inciting event. This is rising action. And then this is a reward. And then I would say this sort of follows this whole thing, right? So leads into the next page. If I were to do the mood, right, it would be, let's see, orange, maybe a little confusion. And then we have a little bit of spark. Actually, I'll use this as a blue sort of piece after, you know, and I would probably do like, so it's just peaceful, but I mean, this is more in the background, right? So this is again square cup to the piece. Ah, I don't like it. I would say actually, shoot. Okay, so I would say this picks up. So this inside event is sort of keeps going, rising action, a little more yellow, more intense, and then into a little bit red. The climax, I would say, of this panel. Okay. Okay, so we do 5 minutes character study. All right. Ready? Go. I don't know if I'm really better at this, but so we can do it faster anyways. Noah. See, the thing is, it has like this flow to it where it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but it's actually across some different times. So I think that's what the confusion is, right? Like if you're gonna, it actually looks like it's sequential, but it's not. So yeah, so that's what so then I think over here, oh, Noah's actually involved. So there's people in the background talking about him. So these are like almost doubters. Right, so this is second character, and this is Faith right here. Doubters. Key Faith. All right. And then we have... Aha! You guys are wrong. See? I told you. It's Birth. And then we have Noah... Believers. And then really no character right there. So maybe like a little bit people. How did it change color? Okay, this right here. People together. This is sort of togetherness, right? So I got a little foreground action going on, show depth, right? And then the brightness. So this is all super bright. Oh, yep. That's what it would sound like. And then we have Noah right here. It's I think it's gotta be Noah's son, right? Okay. So he actually represents these guys, right? The whole family. So he's almost a spokesperson, second in command, I guess. And over here we have Aftermath. So Aftermath, and then this is Hope. And this is super bright. It's bright as well. So Hope to bright. The whole panel is glorious. All right. Okay, so that was actually that was faster than 5 minutes. I like that. I think we can do mood study next. I think we can do maybe 5 minutes again.
Okay.
I thought you said you ripped up your folder.
Okay, so I think what I want to talk about now is the arc, right? So the timeline. So I think we have the first page. I think the first page is somewhere in between. Second page, this is keep faith. Fear, faith, and this sort of actions beget by faith. And then we have this sort of glorious union. That's fear no more. I would say like this part, page 2 and 3 almost. Yeah, 2 and 3 is almost together, right? And then so the majority of story is actually spent, I mean the first page or page 1 to page 1.5. It's really page 1.5 to 3. This is really spent about the motivation and fight. So the motivation of Noah is despite of the doubters, he keeps on pushing forward, right? So and then I guess the inciting event. I don't know if our position is that so much. Is this whole thing like sequence like an establishing opening shot? It could be, right? I think the only thing that trips me up is the fact that I don't think panel 2, 3, and like these rows are necessarily immediate following this. Otherwise, as I would say, it was the opening. This could be an inciting event right here. And oh yeah, actually, I think it's a story right here. So then this constant I really need to pull out some of the sort of an arc sheet or something to match the beats. But if I would say that fear is the opening right here, and then faith, so it would be plot point 1 would be sending out the doves, and those are returning, and then he keeps on sending out the doves, so he keeps on having faith. I actually don't quite know how it maps to the arc, but I think the fact is like the climax right here. So man, I really want to get better handle on this, because something happened, right? And then he keeps on sending out the doves. But there is exactly no evil force really, right? I guess who am I to really try to, what's the point of pinpointing exactly what the arc is, right? This is basically a man's fight. So despite of the doubters, he keep on fighting, and then he won, right? So he was rewarded with it. If anything, this would be sort of a final battle sort of thing. And this whole thing is really just to begin all the way till the end, right? So we're capturing, again, timeline wise, really the end, right? So this is the aftermath of the battle. Okay, I get it. The battle is really between faith and Noah, right? So if I were good and evil, this is doubt. This is Noah's faith, and then they keep on fighting until Noah wins, and then battle, and then Noah prevails, and then this is the land, right here. So I would say that I mean, we're looking at mostly the fight, right?
Why do you keep on pausing?
Yeah, because I'm pausing right now because I'm actually not sure about the plot points. I think I can better sit on it and map it out and really make it structure, but I'm also assessing whether I actually need it. Right? I mean, we have the establishing shot already, and then Noah sends the doves out. That's 1, 2, and 3. And then, I mean, you can definitely see there's a battle going on. If anything, you spend most of the time in these 3 panels. I forgot about that. Right? So, you have this sort of, you buy into the decision. If there were an arc, right? Everything like passes right here. This line is already what's happening after a decision that's made, right? So he makes a decision, and then despite everything that happened, he keeps going. I really wish I could maybe study a stripped down arc. So this was something I want to do. Print out plot and plot points, right? Guides, outline. And then the second thing I wanted is to study arc that's shorter. Not necessarily fit into this timing, but I do want to see how that works out. Okay, so I didn't know what I was doing there. Okay, so there's the arc. The third one is really the emotion study. And I think right now, I can just do 3 minutes on this one because it's fast. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Again, we have a 4-panel layout for some reason. You can revisit it later actually in 2 insets. I don't know if this first 4 rows. Yeah, I don't know if that was. How would I have done it differently, right? We'll get to that later. Okay, so we got sad, pain, doubt, and then faith, stern. Please make it be true. Please. So he goes through his own emotions and turmoils about whether to send it out. And then over here, and then he is, told you so. And then God's glory, let me show you. He is sort of like a prophet, I guess. It is more of the same thing. Light. And then this gracefulness. With this gesture right here. Okay. So I didn't exactly do gesture, right? So I think you can have this guy hands on the hip. This guy with an opinion, right? So all of them, this is sort of a cloud of confusion, and if I write down words, it would be confusion, a little bit of plotting behind him, but not really. Unease, clamoring. Over here, I would say a little anger, but I think it'll be persistent. I'm gonna do it anyways, guys, right? And then this is persistent again, not giving up. You double down. And lastly, please make it come true. So this idea of the last test, right? And then over here, it'd be like surprising, arms out. And then you got the walking distance, right? Walking distance. I don't know the fact of walking distance. All right, this session won't be as analytical because I actually don't have as much time today. And then I would say that these guys, between gratefulness and really is a humbleness, is disbelief. And I like it here because now I can see that I can actually map emotion to gesture quite readily. And I think I might use it in my work. So instead of picturing what to draw, but maybe showing people who are in action, people who are doing certain gestures from different references I can use. This guy's also looking up. So everybody's looking up. So this is front, back. So this is looking up as a place of hope. And of course, there's a land after. And this is a zooming out to a scene. That makes sense right there. But does it make sense to zoom out right here where you're essentially... Okay, so this is, you gotta work for it, right? So this is sort of together, right? I mean, this is the last test, actually. I mean, this is what I was saying, last battle, right? If I can have a shortened arc. Okay, so that's it for the gesture emotion study. We're going to do a dialogue study now, so let's be quick on this one, okay? Because I don't have that much time. Okay, so 1, 2, you got 2, 3. I didn't even notice. I think there's spacing between. These are all insets. I didn't even see that. That's crazy. Okay, so I actually don't know what the insets that they serve there, but I mean, you definitely gravitate towards. I think I gotta come back to this because I think there's specific purpose for insets, and I'm not too clear about. I mean, if you guide the eyes, let's talk about it a little bit. Okay, so we have narration and narration right there. And I noticed that something weird actually. The narration actually didn't happen right there. Right there. So the narration actually became outside of the text for no good reason, really. Yeah, I'm going to indicate like this. And like this. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to point out the Noah ones in blue so you see it in case you come back to it. I think, oh, shoot. Noah's in blue so you know. It doesn't work. There's really no outright evil forces, and maybe that's why this is not really a full arc. It doesn't feel like it, and I can't really think today. But yeah, but the narration is actually carrying it through. I think, yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. I do want to come back though to why do they put the insets for these two right here, right? It got, my eyes did go here. But by placing it on top, right? Over here, it feels like there's shots of the. I need to go back to Andy's thing. By the way, I use this thing from Comics Connection, and it's been excellent top tool for teaching me how to do layout and other comics topic, and I would definitely highly suggest you checking it out.
Some level, the bottom. So if you've got a small panel inside of a larger panel, detail event means
Okay, so link cause and effect. So this is not necessarily cause and effect, I would say. This is, so the cause would be the inset. I'm gonna write this down actually so I know. So if for inset, the typical use, this is from Davis, from Study of Comics Connection, right? So cause and effect. Dude, why is this pencil like this? Oh, you can use pen. Okay, and then you can do simultaneous action. And then big event, detail event. So in this example is you would almost always look at the big picture first, but in this case, the big picture, eyes go to the big picture first. I think that, yes, this is true for the insets right here. But the way that this guy in the Action Bible comic does it, I think the first one I saw was a land of sea and then the action in between. So it's almost like on the ocean and inside the boat. In this case, though, my eyes do not go to those panels right away. In fact, I think they're too small. You would go straight to the top. So, I mean, it does feel more expensive, right? How would it look like if, you know what it would do? It conveys space. So, small actions. So, in this case, would be preceding actions. I guess this is cause and effect, huh? Yeah, this would be cause and effect. So it's just done a little bit differently. The other one I saw like this is like this whole thing is like what happened, and then these are dude, I don't. And then I should probably come back to this. This cause and effect thing. It's unsettling that I don't know the sequence. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to look at it. Maybe that's why they have instance for both. And there's a dialogue study. All right. Okay, the last thing I'll do is let's do the recall from memory. You know, I'm not really from memory anymore, but okay. So this one is disgruntled. I think this person has arms on the side. This person is sitting. This is a lot of people sitting around it. So work, and then doubt, as usual. And then we have a faith. And then we have close up, last try. You know, I actually think that this would be good to do first, second, last try, right? I guess I didn't see it that way. I mean, I can relate to it later, but please, I think this would be, you know, angry face right here, and then this would be like, uh-oh, please, and then goes, aha, told you. And then over here, I think he is guiding a lot of people down here walking through the mountain. And then over here, lastly, he shows everybody, look what we have here. Ah, you're right. And then over here, I think is a back shadow of the glorious land. I think between the first one and this one, I'm not sure if I would do it so much. I think this is actually pretty cool if it's reversed, right? Yeah. And then lastly, is that right? I can't remember. And then a lot of people down here. Let's take a look at it again. Oh yeah, this is a thanks. So the main sequence events really happen this panel, this panel, this panel. And again, I'm going to identify the narration that happens, I think. There's narration everywhere. I don't know if I had this word. Definitely a lot of narration here. So in that sense, I think narrating is everywhere. That makes sense, I guess. If I were to use just black, right, to convey the mood, I would say this right here, this darkness, right? And then this is a glimmer of hope. Glimmer of hope. And then, I would say maybe even the darkness right here. So this guy is consistently a little bit darker. A little bit darker. And then renewal, and then the darkness goes away. This one's they're walking there, and then completely goes away. So yeah, it's about glimmer of hope, sort of flowing into the light, right? Your hope is always there, right? In the darkness, you have this thing right here. All this is hope within the darkness, and the hope prevails, and faith prevails. So it's good versus evil, and doubt, and then again, it's about having faith, right? And then the story of being rewarded for it. And I think the last two, I want to go back to talk a little bit about just why the second page seems, it's not like I wouldn't do it this way, but the insets, yeah, I guess so. If you just look at it, if it truly were to guide your eyes, I think, you know what I would think? I think this one should be bigger on the bottom, right? So eyes would go straight there. When I was reading it, and maybe I was text focused, but I went straight here, the top, right? So I think, yes, I think a sort of a, you know what I would have liked? If this somehow gets a little bit darker, right, as time goes on, that'd be cool. Right, so it's like, oh, please, hope, and eventually hope prevails. I actually like that a lot. And this would be more dramatic right here, right? So something like that. And over here, you have hope prevailing. Yeah, I guess so. It's like hope, like try, win, right? And this is what precedes it. So this is a little bit cause and effect. This is what happened right before. So you can say that like the inset could be what happened before. And then the increasing, close up. I'm gonna write all this down later. The increasing close up is this, what does it convey? It conveys that it's trying harder, more intense, more character focused. So there's that. Okay. Yeah, I think that was a pretty good overview. I covered freestyle, color, overall mood, darkness versus light, and this sort of intensity. I mean, I do want to like point out that this part is not really. This is really what goes into the next one, right? This is always has a little bit of unknown. You know, like a little bit darkness still there. I won't put that big. A little bit darkness still there. So, yeah, that's the next story, right? That's what leads into the next story. It's not exactly said out loud, but